All right. Jesus Christ. Now, it's so funny. It has so many windows open. I don't even know if it's truly coming through the way it should be coming through now, but we'll see. How's everybody? How's the audio? I see it kind of stretching and doing what it's doing. What is the audio talking about with you guys? Can anybody hear audio? Is audio okay? Gotta know how audio is acting. Um, Nobody's responding to my audio question. Is audio okay? Is audio acting correctly? This would be good to know from the people out there if audio is acting correctly. Hello, hello, hello. All right, I'm good. All right, all right, all right. So we're gonna cover today. This is my honest black conservative. I have to really share with you guys what conservatism is as it relates to a dosha person from the streets. We as dosha people here in America, we're totally different than all the other people with dark skin, all the other people with brown skin, all the other people with light skin. Um, we have a different political Huey Newton understanding of how conservatism works. You got to remember, conservatives copied Huey Newton with the whole guns rights thing. That wasn't a conservative issue at first. Uh, Prior to that, we had Babyface Nelson shooting everybody up, Machine Gun Kelly shooting everybody up, and before Huey Newton, the white folks, they had no concept of rights as it relates to guns and what have you. So we're going to talk about how we're weaponizing or getting rid of the Ronald Reagan policies. I've been telling you this since 2006. As a true conservative, I've been studying conservatism. There's like three forms of conservatism. So just because you see somebody claim that they're conservative does not mean that they practice any conservatism whatsoever. All right. A lot of times what you got is people who are Reaganites. They love Reagan. Okay. And that's all they focused on. You cannot truly operate with these Reaganites because Reaganite policies are what you're all complaining about now. Most of all your complaints that you hear people talk about are a policy that Ronald Reagan created. Let's look at the immigration with Mexico. Ronald Reagan started all that. Let that sink in. Ronald Reagan started all that. Ronald Reagan tripled the green cards. We had never had that happen before. And the people over in England, I got to do a podcast with Our Lady Antisocial. Like we need to do a England and American podcast. I'm gonna put some money into it. I got her direct number. I'm gonna reach out to her. We're gonna do it England. We're gonna do it on England timeline. So it might be deep, deep late at night, but we're gonna do it on England timeline. Because we really got to get to an understanding of how things in America got this way. All right. I can tell you about England too, how it got that way, but we really need to dig into how America got this way. So Texas is going to repeal one of the major Ronald Reagan policies. And it's it should have been happened. It should have been happened. But guess what? When you're a Reaganite, you want to protect Reagan so bad because Reaganites are caught up in this thing. because Reaganites are caught up in this thing where they want, hey, make sure you hit the like button. I don't have enough people hitting the like button. Make sure you hit the like button. Reagan, uh, he he was working for the corporation at a time when white men falsely assumed that he was working for them. And then black men not being readers of policy like C. Trey, they falsely went off what TV told them Reagan was about instead of digging into the details. The same thing with Margaret Thatcher. Margaret Thatcher, even though she claimed she was for the people, she really wasn't. She was for industry. Now, I'm not going to say that's good or bad, but that's what she was for. So many a times when you hear people put out a lot of this stuff, let's just call it that, you need to ask them. You need to ask C. Trey, hey, how did this get this way? How did this get that way? Because you need to know where the person is making a speech on behalf of the industry, or if a person really knows the detail in what they're talking about. So we're going to dig into, like I said, a lot of this stuff. I want you to have the information. You know what I mean? I'm a little boring. I'm not an entertainment channel, man. I provide a lot of information. So Texas is going to repeal what every MGTOW red pill person has been crying about. The divorce laws. This is going to shake up family court. The divorce laws are going to be repealed in Texas. Now, who created the divorce laws? Evil Ronald Reagan. No other conservative is going to tell you that. They're not going to call Reagan evil because they want to protect the image of Mr. Communicator. He was a terrible person at the end of the day. Okay. So Texas is going to repeal Evil Reagan, and this is going to lead to the chop down of more of these repeals. If you have questions, type them in the chat room. But when this repeal happens, which will probably happen the end of next year, so not this December, by the end of next December. So it will go through probably the end of this December, but you won't see the ramifications of it until the end of next December, because there's always a 2-year or 4-year lag anytime a policy goes through, a policy gets repealed. You may not see the handling of it until after the fact. Why am I, so crazy, man? I don't know. I get the feeling that YouTube is always blocking my stuff because, like, my thumbnail is not showing up. It's just showing yellow. YouTube is a funny character, man. YouTube is a funny character. My thumbnail is not showing up. My subscription notations are not going out. That's why I tell people all the time, YouTube kind of picks winners and losers. It doesn't want to be a honest broker. Yeah, so it is what it is. And so I'll figure it out. But anyway, so that's part of the issue that you have, is that now that more people are realizing that it's really these Ronald Reagan laws, like everything that these white people are upset about is the Ronald Reagan laws. But at the same time, they were told by their uncles and aunties that they should love Reagan. Reagan hasn't done anything for this country. You cannot point to one policy, not one, where Reagan has increased us. He caused so many problems, and then he tried to blame other people for the problem. He tried to blame Bush. He tried to blame Jimmy Carter. Everything was everybody else's fault. Well, if you just trusted me, no, nah, you were terrible, bruh. It's just the white people couldn't see it because the white people wanted to believe in this whole Gorbachev, take that wall down. The wall didn't help us. Creating NATO didn't help us. None of these things that we're focused on are truly, truly, truly helping us. We should have stayed Union. Reagan created the first jail expansion, locking people up for profit. Reagan created the whole give you money to go overseas and create a company and sail back to America and not pay no tariffs. That's Reagan's stupid idea. So it's like a lot of these things, man, it's like it wasn't a benefit to this particular country. But again, when you try to point this out, they call you a rhino, which is an insult amongst Republicans, but I'm not a Republican. So it's an insult. Their attempt to insult you, when in actuality, all you really got to do is look at it for what it is. The policies are not helpful. So we're going to have Texas repeal this. And when the repeal happens, more people, more guys, because this is something that's really going to benefit guys. Hey, what's going on, Misfit? What you mean you've been telling me that for years? Let me drop a link for you, Mr. Misfit. You're always an interesting person to speak with. And anybody else that wants to come up, please do. This is a researched policy conversation. Sometimes it's kind of hard to speak with people who don't research policy. They're just going off what the TV tell them. But like I try to tell all you guys, man, as an honest Black conservative, I try to tell you what the policy says. People kind of, it is what it is. But actually, I've been telling you guys for years so that this stuff is terrible. Most of the stuff white guys complain about about America or taking back America or America first has to do with Reagan policies. Once this Reagan policy starts to fall, and then you also got to get rid of the tax code that he did in 1969 to give single parents the same benefits as a married couple. You shouldn't do that. If you want to give them something separate, yeah, so be it. But you should not tag it along with the same benefits as a married couple. A married couple should always have a more superior benefit for being married. So even when people didn't get along, they stayed married for the sake of the benefits, and then it helped create stronger children. Not perfect children, stronger. Let's go. Kid Gravity says you're good. Thank you, Kid Gravity. Make sure you hit the link. Make sure you share. Ashley says, with the appeals, do you think the government will ever truly crack down on migrants? So here's the issue with migrants. Number one, you have to repeal NAFTA. NAFTA's just not helping. The reason why we got all these contracts and temp workers is because of NAFTA and because of right to work. Those two policies. If you start going back to union requirements, you will see the effect that unions have on immigration. Immigrants used to be told you had to wait 1 to 3 years before you could even apply. And because of that, it was so restrictive, you just couldn't come in and weaponize and say, hey, I'm willing to take $2 less than that American. I'm willing to take $5 less than that American. That's a good question, though, Ashley. Share the video. Share the video. Also, Ashley says, with the craziness of them being bussed all over the U.S. So once again, during the days of union, we used to give out penalties for companies that did not hire American workers. And because of that, if those companies were caught and were fined like that, then over a short time, they would tighten their screws. Because really, there's no reason for a business loophole. All you have to do is push the numbers to your customers. All you have to do is have less managers. Think about it this way. You know how Republicans are always saying they don't want a lot of government? Well, the same thing is at your job. Same thing is at your job. There's two people who should make a lot of money, the worker and the owner. The managers, why are they getting paid so much? All they're doing is moving paperwork and telling people what to do next. I'm a manager and I'm telling you that. So, and then I know somebody crazy be like, well, won't you give back your money? Well, even if I give back my money, it doesn't change the system. It just doesn't. And even if I give back my money, it doesn't mean that you, the system, are going to give my money to the workers. There you go. So a lot of times people say this crazy stuff, man, and it's like, it's not a benefit to the country. You can give me insults all day long. You can't shame me. Okay? You can give me insults all day long. But when you start to realize that majority of these issues have to do with you not being consistent on reading these policies that you claim to love, you gotta read these policies. You can't be in this mindset of I only want to go off what the TV has told me about how this works. You can't do that. And then slowly you guys are starting to see how more of these issues that we're having in America have to do with these Ronald Reagan policies. So let me read what Texas is doing, and then we're going to start to close down. So no fault divorce. What is it? Okay. The way divorce used to work is, hey, it's an investment. It's an investment that's has taxes and benefits and all type of stuff to it. So when you're asking another human being, hey, be part of this team with me so we can take benefits on these taxes and all this other stuff. What you don't want to do is have a situation where a person is saying, you know what? I'm just out and I want you to pay for it. No. Because see, the system now is still operating under the old 1920 version of understanding that you as the guy are the more so provider. The system doesn't even acknowledge that she might be more of the provider. The system doesn't acknowledge. Now, there are some times men will win a situation here and there, but the system as a whole, nationwide, does not acknowledge it like that. And because the system was never changed, then you have a problem with getting the benefits as a married couple. You got to repeal Reagan's policies in order for things to go back to the way they used to be under Jimmy Carter and under Ford and under FDR and so on and so forth. So, hey, Gabe says, yo, what is this? And why am I sub to this channel? Well, sir, thank you, Mr. Gabe. Long time no hear from you, sir. Uh, hope everything's going well, man. So, like I said, a lot of times people don't understand how this stuff works. And so my job as a person who reads a lot of this stuff is to break it down for you to simply understand it on a base level. Okay. So here's what they're talking about. So, what is no fault divorce? And why are US conservatives against it? So, people are against it now because they're starting to realize we love Reagan. I don't. I can't stand Evil Reagan. But we love Reagan, but his policies are damaging. NAFTA, jail expansion, all of his policies are damaging. And so what we have is much of the divorce rate has to do with people just waking up and saying, you know what? I want out. But what some people are trying to say is, oh, it's against women. Wait. Why is it against women? Can you articulate why it's against women? And they can't explain to you why getting rid of no fault divorce, which works for both genders, is against women. And this is the problem with liberal mindsets. Liberal mindsets wants to play a game on people that don't read policy. It's the same argument I saw Roland Martin having the other day, and I'm going to get to that at another point in time. You cannot tell somebody what they shouldn't do. You got to give a better result. And if you spend so much time telling somebody what you shouldn't do, as opposed to give a better result, then you start doing something really sinister. You create a false narrative. Oh, this is against women. How is it against women? I'm willing to agree if you can explain to me how. Because women should be able to get out at any time they want to. And men should not. Well, men too. Okay. And they should equally be okay with not getting into a marriage that they know they are not can't easily get out of. Well, yeah, exactly. So if you know that marriage is something you cannot easily get out of, that you got to show cause, actual cause. Because you got to understand, with no fault divorce, cheating went off the books. See, a lot of y'all didn't know that because you don't read the policies. Cheating went off the books. Cheating used to be a reason for divorce. No fault divorce, it turned into irreconcilable differences. Now you can't use cheating. If Gabe come home and his wife is, hey, what's up, AM1? If Gabe come home and his wife is slurping somebody else's pipe, Gabe cannot go to court and say, hey, I want a divorce because I came home and she was cheating. Nope. Can't use it under no fault divorce. What? What are you talking about? She's clearly violating the oath. Doesn't matter. And that's why I tell people marriage is not a Christian concept. It's a statehood concept. It's not a Christian concept. Marriage existed before Christianity or Islam was a thing. Marriage existed. And it existed in a state concept. So you would think that this person is not honoring the oath, when in actuality, under no fault, the person can do what they wish. Ashley says, you're right about post-NAFTA versus pre-NAFTA immigrants. hey, donate, donate. Donate to the channel. So we're gonna start closing down, man. We got one person watching. Uh a lot of the ones coming here now think they're owed something just for a lot of people who come now don't even like America. A lot of people who come now don't even like America. And because the floodgates are open from NAFTA, Ronald Reagan's NAFTA and Bill Clinton's NAFTA, we got this problem that we have now where people are just ransacking, and this adds to the homelessness. You know, if we didn't have so many non valid, I mean, like I don't hate immigrants, but you got to go through the process. But we got stuff so easily set up now where a person who hates America can come here and get so many benefits out the gate that the regular American can't.
If you would like to contribute to Mr. Research, you can do that with the King of Classy Cash app. All donations are appreciated. Sometimes what happens in our black community, we want people to give us stuff for free, and then we don't appreciate it, and then we go about our way with free information, and we start sticking our chest out as if we had this level of the game all the time. Jewish people give back, Latino people give back, Portuguese people give back. The black community is the only one that really don't like giving back. Now, nobody's trying to shame you for it. If you want to donate, you can do that through the King of Classy app. But the reality is, our community is the only community that wants to be opportunist and take advantage of stuff for free. The game is to be sold, not to be told. Now, you've heard that pimp conversation in movies before. You've heard that street conversation on all type of records. The game is to be sold, not to be told. Because when you just freely tell people stuff, they tend not to appreciate it. And when people buy stuff, they tend to appreciate it more because you added value to it. So if you appreciate this level of the game, you can donate back. Um, all donations do count, and all donations are appreciated. And if you feel like, you know what, you don't want to do that, then you can at least hit the like button. Hit the like button when you come in on the video, subscribe. And even if you don't like any of this, send it to your cousin, send it to your uncle, send this to your coworker, send it to somebody else outside of you. Maybe they can appreciate this level of the game. Much love. Now let's get back to the video.
So in conclusion, what we have is a slow repeal of this nonsense that Ronald Reagan has put forth. All the Reaganites are going to call me names. You're a rhino, but they're not going to be able to explain to you in detail, like I have, why it's evil and it needs to be repealed. If we go back to the Ford era, everything was lower. Even the Jimmy Carter era, GDP, everything was lower. You can hate that if you want to, but the numbers don't lie. Soon as Reagan came in, he quadrupled everything and it became a mess. So I say all that to say salute to you. For those people who donated, we give a shout out to you, Lolly. Great donation from you. Appreciate the $100. We also give thanks to Prince. We really appreciate you, sir. Thank you for the 50. And much love. We will talk to you soon and give you some more level of the game. Leave a comment in the comment section. We want to know what you think, man. We want to know where you disagree. Name calling is one thing, but sharing where you agree and disagree is what's really important. Much love. We'll be talking to y'all soon.